Hello, my name is Rachel, and I'm here to tell you about the books that I managed to read in August and a few hopefuls for September. So, first up in August, I read several Casey West books. My goal was to read all of her published works this month and do a big Casey West review, but it just didn't happen. I am reading them, though, and I am enjoying them. I just haven't had the time to get them all finished. So, I read 3 of them this month. I'm hoping to read the other 3 next month. So, for the ones I read this month, first up was On the Fence, and I really enjoyed this one. It is basically about a girl who is from a family of all boys, and she kind of develops some feelings for her next door neighbor, who is the best friend of one of her brothers. And obviously complications ensue, and in true Casey West form, it is, kind of like a romantic comedy, as they all are, and they're wonderful. So I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. I listened to it on audiobook, and I really enjoyed it. The next Casey West book that I read was The Fillin Boyfriend, and I literally listened to this all in one sitting. I started playing it in the morning, and I just was so into it that I just did not stop it until it was over. So it was pretty good, as you can probably imagine. And again, very Casey West, romantic comedy style. In this case, this girl gets stood up at her prom. Basically, she's dumped in the parking lot, so she finds another guy to fill in and pretend he's the boyfriend for prom. And then, of course, they have further interactions and, some romantic feelings, and, you know how that goes. I'm sure you can guess what happens. But, again, it's lovely. I listened to this one all in one sitting and really enjoyed it. 4 out of 5 stars for me. Next up is The Distance Between Us, also by Casey West. This one follows a girl who lives with her mom, and they're kind of have some financial trouble, and they run a doll store, and she meets this rich guy, and she's kind of convinced that they shouldn't be together because he's so rich, but they have these cute little outings that revolve around career days, and that sounds really silly, but you'll get it when you read it. You'll love it. I did. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars, and again, I listened to this one on audiobook, and those are the 3 Casey West books that I read. I'll go into more detail when I do my full Casey West wrap-up. I'm hoping in September to read the other 3, which is the newest, P.S. I Like You, and then her duology, which is Pivot Point and Split Second, I think. So stay tuned for more Casey West information in a future video. Aside from those, I also reread Saga Volume 1. I'm hoping to reread the whole series before I read the newest edition that just came out this summer. And I definitely think that I got it more this time. Now that I kind of know what's happening and I'm more familiar with the characters, it made a lot more sense. And these are fun. I don't think I like them as much as some other people do, but I do enjoy them, and I plan on continuing to read the series. It's basically like an intergalactic love story where these 2 people from feuding planets have met and have created this wonderful little mixed child that is, the best of both of their worlds, it seems like, and they're on the run, and that's basically what the series is. But it involves a lot of crazy characters and a lot of adult content, so make sure you're aware of that. I read this one again as a reread, and I gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. Another reread for me this month was Pride and Prejudice, which is probably my favorite book. I'm gonna officially go out on a limb here and say it is my favorite book. I read this with the Ostentatious Book Club that is run by Zoe over at Read by Zoe, and although I wasn't able to participate much in the book club, it did give me an excuse to reread this book, and I love it. It's my favorite book. So without, further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let you know I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I will always give Pride and Prejudice 5 out of 5 stars. It's my favorite type of story. I just love it. I love when characters hate each other and slowly fall in love. It's my favorite. I will read these forever, and I will love them forever, no matter how predictable the story is. I'll just love it. Anyway, 5 out of 5 stars to my reread of Pride and Prejudice. And lastly, I read 2 books that came from school libraries, so basically kind of like work-related reads. The first one was the first book in a series called The Time Warp Trio, and it's by John Sazeska? Yikes, I don't know. Anyway, this first book was called Knights of the Kitchen Table, and basically it follows the story of these 3 boys who teleport back in time to Camelot, in this case, in this particular book, and just how they're interacting with these knights as kids from present day. And it's just hilarious. It was fun, and it was just a quick read. It's very short, and I think it really keeps your attention, so I'm game. I really liked this one. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. And last but not least, another book from school that I picked up that I cannot wait to share with kids is called Fortunately the Milk by Neil Gaiman. And first of all, you should know that anything by Neil Gaiman seems to just be amazing, so I feel like you're always safe if you go Neil Gaiman. But this is just this is so awesome, and it just, you have no idea what's coming, and it's just so amazing. It just hits you with all its awesomeness. This follows this family. The mom is going away, like, in the first couple pages, and leaves all these instructions for the dad to take care of the kids, and by the next morning, they're out of milk. So the dad takes off to go get the milk, and the kids are waiting and waiting and waiting. Where is he at? Where's the milk? What's happening? And then the dad comes home, and he's got this really elaborate, fantastical story of why it took him so long to get the milk, and it involves all sorts of fantastical elements. There's a lot of drawings that are incorporated into this book, and it is just funny and awesome and just amazing. I love this. I gave it 4. Probably in retrospect, I'd give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was awesome, and I cannot wait to get this into the kids' hands and see what they think about it. So now, those are the books that I managed to read in August. That's what, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh. So hopefully we can do a little bit better in September, because 7 seems a little low for me now, especially since one of those was a graphic novel and 2 of them were children's books. So we're going to aim a little bit higher. So first of all, I'm going to hopefully get through the other 3 Casey West books, as I mentioned. I would also like to read Alone by Lisa Gardner. This was the August read-along with my mom, and I didn't get to it, so hopefully we'll get to it in September. And as for the September read-along with mom, that is Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck, which is a little one. I can probably get to that really quick. I also want to read A Torch Against the Night by Saga Tahir. I literally just bought that today, and I am excited to jump in and give that one a read. It is the sequel to An Ember in the Ashes, which was probably one of my favorite books from last year, and yeah, I have been so highly anticipating this book. I cannot wait to jump into it. And I'm also going to read Persuasion by, I almost said Jane Eyre, by Jane Austen for the Ostentatious Book Club. And lastly, I want to read Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. I have managed somehow not to read this yet, and the movie's coming out, so I'm hoping to get to that this month. So those are all the books that I read in August and the books that I plan on reading in September. If you have read any of these or hope to read any of these and you'd like to talk about them more, go ahead and leave a comment down below. I love chatting with you guys. And if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscription button. Thank you for watching, and I will see you again with another video soon. Bye for now. Hello, my name is Rachel, and I'm here to tell you about a few exciting new releases coming out August 30th, 2016. First up is a young adult contemporary